Hello, everyone. It's Prashan here with another Marvel Snap video. And this time I have a special guest with me. I have Educated Collins here. He's definitely a person I go to all the time when it comes to deck building and content creation as far as like Marvel Snap goes. He's one of the OGs, one of the people I went to all the time. So I don't think this man needs an introduction. But if you want to introduce yourself, Educated, you can.
Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm Collins. Make some content. Apparently, that's what he said. So yeah, I'm just running with it. But yeah, it should be a fun one. Definitely an interesting day we've got today. So I'm ready to get started.
Nice. Thank you for being here. And then what happened to the how you doing, man? The how you doing? You're Mr. How
Am I
you doing?
supposed to? All right. So I will say, this came randomly from like a podcast I do with one of my other streamer friends, right? And I just added it to the YouTube videos, and a lot of people liked it. Some people didn't like it, but I ignored them.
No, I love it, man. You gotta keep it. Definitely gotta keep it.
But
So when
now
it
it's like every time I do anything, it's like add that in, add that the how you're doing. I'm just like, what have I done? Yeah. How you doing?
let's go. So as far as like Marvel Snap goes, what made you gravitate towards the game?
So essentially, I've always been a fan of card games, right? Been a fan of just strategy games, right? I have two brothers, and we would all play together, right? And anytime there was like a competitive game that we'd fight, I always end up winning, and it was
Mm.
like kind of an issue because we'd play the game once, you know what I mean, and then I'd win, and then they're like, "Oh, this game is broken." Because I won, and then we wouldn't play. So it got kind of annoying, but um, just had a love for card games. Played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. I would say growing up, and then transitioned to Hearthstone, even transitioned to the Battlegrounds. But uh, Ben Brode was a designer for Hearthstone. He went to make a new company, right? So I
Right.
was kind of just following that, and when it came out, well, I tried to get in. Okay, so when it was like in beta, I tried to get in. I asked, and no one was listening to me, I guess, or whatever. But there was like no response when I was trying to contact because I was trying to play in the beta, but wasn't able to get in. But once it was fully released, everyone was able to play. Then I did join anyways, and that was pretty addictive. I was just playing nonstop, and there was like this one event. When they still did events, they haven't really done events. This is a long story. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, bro.
But there was an event, and it was like if you played 10 games, you would that's all you have to do. You have to win something like that 10 games to get the ranking daily. But everyone could do that, right? Everyone could play the 10 games. But if there was a tie, if people played the 10 games, the tiebreaker was highest rank. So I played the 10 games day one, and I was just at the top. I was like, "Oh, I'm the highest rank, at least in NA." And I
Mm.
was like, "Oh, that's a great opportunity." I should definitely keep that in mind because I was streaming Hearthstone and stuff like that at the time. But once I realized there was like a position right to fill, right? Hey, high level player making content. I was like, okay, let me jump on that. So it was actually due to that event that they don't do anymore. That was really what made me like create content. At least, like I was just playing it casually, but once I realized, I could, actually spend some time and make some stuff for it, then I really just jumped into it. So that's
So you
kind of
did.
the idea. But I was already playing it.
So you didn't start playing until launch. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
That
I
is
tried, but they didn't let me. And
so. With me, I knew about the game, so I was like, all right. And then I was looking on YouTube. Like I think I saw another like trailer for the game, and I was like, and then I looked on YouTube, and I saw people playing the game, and I was
yeah,
like, how is everyone playing the game?
they
So
have the
I
beta. They got the beta keys. It's so annoying.
but I stumbled across TLSG's YouTube,
Oh, you did? Okay, nice.
and TLSG put a tutorial out on how to download BlueStacks, and how to get
Oh
the
yeah,
game.
yeah. Oh yeah. I realized I saw that too. I just didn't want to do that. That was like too much for me. Because I was already playing like Hearthstone and stuff like that. If I had to like
Gotcha.
go through like a awkward method, then it becomes too much of a hassle. So I didn't go into it. But I was aware you could do that. I also didn't
Gotcha.
think that was gonna save through. Like I didn't think that was going to
Like your
like
progression
this.
was gonna
Yeah,
stick.
yeah. Did it stick?
Yeah, it did. But I was in the
It did.
Philippines
Oh,
for a
okay.
while. I was in the Philippines. So
Okay.
technically
Yeah, yeah.
whenever I was free to play until launch because technically my like cards and stuff like that wouldn't work until launch.
Yeah, yeah, I heard about that. Like play through the Philippines. That was the way to go, but
Yep. So that's how
that
it
was
was
too
for
much for
me.
me.
Understandable. So did you make content before Snap?
Yeah, yeah, I've made content for Hearthstone and stuff like that. Generally, so I have some experience making content, right, which is helpful. Maybe
Mhm.
not the exact like style I do. I would say like compared to like Hearthstone and stuff like that. My Snap content's more like hands on. It's more like focused. It's more like I have to sit down and draft it before I make it compared to like Hearthstone where it's just like here's a gameplay, here's another gameplay, which is a lot easier to make. I would
Gotcha.
say compared to like this is how you optimize blah 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 blah.
Right. Makes sense. Makes sense. And then as far as like I guess Marvel Snap and content creation, where do you think you stack up as far as everybody else?
I don't know. I don't think it matters per se. Like it's
Uh,
hard to you start comparing and you get sad. That's just been life generally, so I try
true.
not to.
I think
Yeah.
you I me personally, I think you're up there.
I appreciate that,
I think
feel free to feed my ego. However, when it comes to like comparing,
I think
I'm not
me
gonna go down
personally,
that
I
road.
think you're underrated. I think you're up there. To me, you're up there. Like when it comes
Okay.
to Marvel Snap content and someone's opinion on about the game, I definitely look forward to your opinion and thoughts when it comes to the game of Marvel Snap.
Yeah, I mean, just looking back through my own track record, I think a lot of the stuff I have said have been like fairly close to being correct. I definitely remember like there's been like some moments, especially like when they changed the collection track, and I was trying to help people like optimize that. I think that was like done correctly the way I approached it, and just generally the spotlights, like making sure you're using your resources. I think there's been a lot of like good things that I've done that I've been proud of. So overall, I think there's a lot of like good things to take away from just how I've approached helping people in the game.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then as far as cards in the game, how do you feel about Annihilus right now? Because I have Annihilus up.
Like, should you get it, or what do you mean by how do I feel? Like, is he too good? Is he too bad? Like,
Yeah,
what are you
whatever,
asking? Right?
whatever you think.
Well, generally, like before it came out, right? I thought it was going to be the most impactful card of the month, right? If that makes
Mhm.
sense, right? Like, it's theoretically really good, and the potential for it is, high.
Okay,
uh, Now that it's been played, um, it's maybe not as crazy as I would have wanted it to be. And also like everyone is aware that everyone else is like if you're going to play it like
it's
this is the
obvious,
time, right? Yeah,
right?
so because it's obvious like that kind of makes it a lot weaker. You can kind of tech against it. And you can also like Annihilus back, which is a little bit weird sometimes, but generally it's not been as impactful as I was thinking it was going to be, which is a little bit sad, but I do think different meta, it could definitely be better. I just think right now when it comes out, everyone's aware of it. It hasn't been as strong as I guess I would have hoped.
So one
What are
card
your
that
thoughts?
I think he's pretty good, but I think it's like
Mhm.
some cards that come into the forefront when it comes to Annihilus. and one of
Mm,
them is Ghost. I've been playing Ghost with my Annihilus deck
mm,
because I figure I'm going to see a bunch of mirrors.
right,
So it lets my Annihilus go last instead of having
right,
theirs go
right,
last.
right, right.
So there's plenty of games where they threw their junk at me and then I just threw it right back at them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the fact you can do that though is an issue. Like it shouldn't be like, oh, I saved my Annihilus for my opponent's Annihilus. Like that shouldn't be a game plan that's like viable, right? Like it's not like you're like, oh, when he plays Hulk, I'll just save my Hulks until final turn. Or, like, that shouldn't be like a game plan you should be able to do. But because it's
Right.
so new, because people are trying stuff, you can get away with like that type of gameplay where normally like it's like, oh, you there's only one person with a nihilist in their deck, right? And
Right.
it shouldn't be like, I'll just wait until he plays his, like
Right.
and
I
I'll
think
have Ghost.
once
I'll have Ghost in my deck for the matchup. Like what? What do you mean?
that's what I've been doing. I cuz like that's what everyone's going to play for the next few
Right,
days.
right,
So I'm
right,
like,
right.
all right.
It makes sense. It's just like it shouldn't work, Like from theoretically it shouldn't work, but it does make sense to do things like that.
Right. And then is there a card right now that you would change in the game?
Where do we start? You right now, I mean, I would change Mobius.
Mobius again?
Yes, I would. I think I would make him stronger. I think right now he's too weak, actually.
Really?
But
What do you mean? Would you change
okay,
his
fair. Like
cost?
actually, I think it's fine to wait. I'll give them more time before but I would be looking into it. Um, yeah, probably it'd probably be the cost and the ability as well. Maybe
Okay.
not make it on like permanent, but I think I'd also make it easier to play. There's also a couple. You said one, right? I'm
No,
not
you
gonna.
can name as many as you want. I'm here for it.
Alliance, maybe I would adjust in some ways as well. It's a polarizing card that could be adjusted in some ways, just to make it less polarizing. I do like what it does to the game, in that some people want to play for priority now, where before that was not the case at all. I think the Shang-Chi and stuff is good. I would also buff some of the unloved cards. I think I'm more of a buff unloved cards type of person than
What do you think is the most unloved card at the moment?
I could use stats and give you like the actual answer, right?
True.
Let me actually live. I prefer that kind of thing. If we're looking at like what's not played, Angel's the
Yes,
lowest.
for sure.
So that's a card. Like something people would like is if it also flies from your hand. That's a pretty simple adjustment for Angel, so that you could at least have it also come from your hand. You could also make it like if it gets destroyed, it could also get buffed. So if it does fly from your deck, it's a 1/3 instead of a 1/2, so it's a
Or
little bit
or
better.
maybe the angel turns into like a token, an angel token that costs more. You know how you have the demon with hood?
Mm, mm,
There could probably be an angel token.
so that it doesn't get killmongered. That's fair, actually. I'm down for that. I could see that being an idea. That's actually not that's not bad, because like you're gonna play this in destroy, right?
Right.
And destroy runs Killmonger. So if your angel comes out in your destroy deck and you didn't use like Killmonger to activate it, that means your Killmonger will always kill your destroy. So if it comes out as like a 2 cost token instead,
Hmm.
then let's say you play like Carnage on 2, right? And then Angel flies out. Now even if you play Killmonger on 3, your Angel doesn't get destroyed. So that's actually a pretty like elegant way to add this into destroy without like it
Right.
being awkward. So
Yeah,
I
like
that's
there's a demon. Hood has demon. Let's have angel have like an angel token.
yeah.
Some balance.
Ri- Rhino is also another one that never sees play. Right?
Rhino?
Like it 3/3 ruined this location. What do you mean? This card is never played.
You don't
Do you
think
play this card?
No, not at all.
Okay. Okay.
There's a bunch
Like
of cards I don't play. They're not on my like radar at all.
yeah, like Rhino Quake. Domino though, I think Domino is kind of fine. Actually, I wouldn't necessarily change
I
her.
don't know. She had like a
Uh,
semi like when people play Agatha, she's almost a
yeah,
necessity.
yeah. I think Domino's okay. Like I wouldn't like make her a 2/4 or anything like that. Like I think she's fine where she is. Baron Mordo and Ronin, right? Those are also very underplayed. M'Baku, unfortunately, underplayed. So yeah, there's a lot of man. I would love M'Baku to be good.
Oh
That
yeah,
would be
same.
really fun.
Well, I think like Rescue and Jessica Jones too. Those were cards that weren't played until recently.
Yeah, they got buffed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would love for, like Crossbones, right? Crossbones could have been a 4/9, right? Like, I don't know why it didn't get any love there. I guess because it was already like there are some decks that played Crossbones. There are some decks, so I could see it, but it's one of those that could have been a 4/9. Like, at least try it, and then if it's like too good, then nerf it, right? So those
Right.
type of things would have been fine. Kang. I'd delete Kang.
Oh yeah, Kang is horrible. Like I think I
I,
mentioned this almost every single time I talk, but the worst thing ever is when someone plays Magic and
mhm.
they play Kang too. It makes the game go on so long.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, what broken combo are we talking about
No,
here?
no,
You're
no.
like,
It's
you're like, oh, it's just a long game. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, it's like a super long game.
You're
Like
playing a
why?
conquest match. Yeah.
Right. It's
Because
like
they
all right.
want to win. They want to win, and
But
that was their strategy.
if it takes you 8 turns to try to win a game, you lost the game already for the most part.
I mean, the winner is not the good like that. If he wins, he's fine with
What
it.
would you do with Kang if you were able to
Delete him.
remix?
Just delete him.
Just delete. You wouldn't like rework it. Nothing.
I would initially delete him, and then I would go and rework him afterwards. Okay,
Okay.
fine. I'll let the people that bought Kang get something, but I just don't. I think if he's strong, he's so toxic. So it's just there has to be a different way you could utilize him in an elegant way. But the problem is like it has to be reminiscent of his current ability. Like I don't think you can like completely take away the essence of the card because then it's like false advertising, essentially. So
Right.
you kind of have to make it where it can do something with time, but not in an obnoxious way where it's just like oh my god. So
Maybe you get
I
like
don't
your
know.
starting hand back or something. I don't know.
Yeah, once again, this is a it's a somewhat difficult one. Play play the cards. Uh, play the cards you played. Your last two played cards in random locations, or something
Yeah.
like that. That's a different card though. That
Yeah.
also sounds pretty good.
I don't know. Spider Man was reworked.
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man wasn't it wasn't really a paid card. Like it wasn't like a big battle level card, right? It was a series 3 card that was just super toxic and needed to be reworked. So
Right.
that one is fair. This one is like people paid, paid for Kang specifically for the ability. Though the ability sucks, so it currently, so it's fine to rework it, but it does need to have that same Kang vibe, right? So
Right. And then
that's probably why they haven't done anything. They don't know what to do with this card,
no.
right? Like
Yeah, we don't either.
yeah, it's a rough one.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
But
tough.
they put themselves in that position, so I have no sympathy here.
True.
So,
True.
what could you do?
Right. And then I know like when it comes to like deck creation with you, you tend to have that one surprise card. Like when you have your decks, when I watch some
Generally, yeah. A lot of my decks have like are weird. Like in essence, in that
Mhm.
like it's a lot of times when I look, like I'll check to see like are other people playing similar decks, and it's a lot of times it's just no, which is peculiar, right? You would think that almost every deck out there has been played, but
Right.
a lot of people just stick to the standard, I guess, and
Mhm.
it's it's hard to it's hard to experiment as well unless you're good enough too, right? Because if you're not good and you deviate, you'll just lose constantly, and you'll just be like, "This is horrible," right? But you have to be like okay with losing and like figure out like what is the main problem, why am I losing, that kind of thing. And a lot of times when you're playing a standard deck with no deviations,
Mhm.
especially at the highest level, you play 1, 2 cards, you're playing no zero deck, right? And then that's when you're in trouble because if your opponent knows exactly what you can play, then it's a very easy for them to put themselves in positions where, oh, all they have is this, and I have the answer. All they're gonna do is this, and my their best power, mine is a little bit better, right? And then you can be in highly dangerous positions where they're snapping and you don't really know what they're doing, right? And
Right.
that's where like having like something that they're not expecting can really throw them for a loop. A lot of times when like someone will like come after a game and go to the stream and ask, they'll be like, "I had no idea what you were playing," and I'm like, "That's the point, right?"
Well,
Like, yeah.
I
Uh,
remember one of your surprise cards was Scarlet Witch.
yeah, for sure. This was very early on. I would say I haven't really been playing Scarlet Witch as much, but this was in like one of the previous metas where I was climbing, where just no one really respected Scarlet Witch, and it was really good late in the match, right? Like turn 6, there were so many games where Scarlet Witch would get me 8 cubes,
Oh, nice.
where there wasn't really any other card that could do that because you were able to just like turn these unwinnable lanes into winning lanes, right? And things like that. So um it's been nice. The one issue with that is that Scarlet Witch, you need to be running a deck that has very flexible late game, right? And
Mhm.
Zabu decks can do that, but a lot of decks play 5s and 6s in the late game. So if that's your late game, then Scarlet Witch won't fit. So you need something like Terror Control would be good, right? Like Zabu decks also work, right? Like those decks that can play like double 3 and it's good, or 3, 2, 1 and it's good. So
Right.
um,
What's your
yeah.
surprise card now?
My surprise card now varies deck by deck, and it's usually just me playing random cards.
Okay.
I would say like a card I'm playing generally that maybe not that many people are playing. What is a card like that I play? Goose? Goose
Goose.
does a lot. Uh that I see myself playing Goose more than other people. But like especially now, even better now because Miss Marvel is something people play. You could just play Goose middle, right? And then it just
Right.
shuts that down. But even before that, that was something I would do. Um, what else is cool? I really like Bask into Iron Man. Like
Ooh.
that's really powerful.
Okay.
I don't think that's like a surprise card, but that's something like if I can get in the deck is really nice. Oh, Invisible Women. Maybe that's so true. That's the surprisest of even that card opens up so many different plays that are not available without the card. Yeah. That's one of the cards that I tried to put
So
in decks if I can.
what do you try to hide
There's
behind
there's
her?
so many there's so many
The
things you
Shang
could do
Chi
with
Shadow
Invisible.
King or the
Um, so, dude, I don't want to give away all my something very common is like Ebony Maw in there. Like, just
Oh,
put that in
okay.
there.
True.
Maximus in there, same thing. Like those big power cards, you can just fill in there very cheaply. Is really nice. Another thing you could do is Absorbing Man. You put Absorbing Man in there, and then if you play something big, like Doctor Doom is very common, right? You play Doctor Doom, and then end of game it opens up the second Doctor Doom from the Absorbing Man. It's very very common. Another thing you could
Ooh.
do is Killmonger. So I've done something like put play my one drops after the Killmonger, like in that lane. Like
Oh,
so,
makes
like end of
sense.
turn, Killmonger goes, and then my one drop comes out in
Nice.
there. So I can get to play my one and kill off. Shadow King is also very common, right? If I know they're playing that type of game, just put the Shadow King in there. Super good Shang-Chi as well, right? But
Right.
I find Shadow King easier to pop in there than the Shang-Chi a lot of times. So a lot of times with Shang-Chi is a lot harder to play now, honestly, because the the nerf did a good job at making it that Shang-Chi isn't as ubiquitous. Like you can play decks without a big card and still win, which was kind of the issue before where you kind of needed something Shang-Chiable if you wanted to win a lot of matchups. Now you don't, right? You can play 9 power cards and it'll be fine. So
But I
because
think
of that, there's simply
there's always the Alioth factor too on turn 6.
true. But generally you can get away without having any card that is Shang-Chiable, so Shang-Chi presence is dropped. So I just don't think you need to be as focused on it. So Shadow King I think is a little bit better for me at least, and just what I
Gotcha.
want to do.
And what do you feel about Loki?
It's weird because I the card is still good, but I don't see it. Is that weird?
What?
Like
You don't see it
I
in your
don't see
matches?
I don't see it as well. Keep in mind, like this is like top 200, like 100, and like people are playing weird stuff up
Oh
there. They
yeah,
just
for
do whatever
sure.
they want. So I don't see it as much as maybe other people are seeing it. But the card is strong, and it's no doubt it's strong. Even with the nerf to 4 power. So it's just interesting because my experience of the meta is not the standard, right? So just from objective or watching other people where I know like, oh,
Mm.
Loki's still really good, still really strong, but like it's like I'm not seeing it, right? Because people are playing like I'm seeing like junk and stuff like that, you know, and the like this was before Annihilus.
Right, yeah. I was
uh,
playing Junk before Annihilus too, because I was testing Junk for Annihilus.
y- right, and I assume that's what they're doing as well, but um, there's less Loki at least, but it's still like nothing has changed with Loki from when I was seeing it all the time. And it was super crazy, right? It hasn't changed since the nerf, so it's just a very powerful card. I do wonder what they're going to do with it if they're just going to leave it as it is, because
I would just
you
change
know.
where if you take your opponent's cards, like the cost isn't reduced.
Mm. But that's like the funnest part of Loki, right? Like,
I guess, but remember what they did with Thanos? You couldn't use Quinjet on the stones.
yeah,
I think
I
maybe
do
they should
think
do something
minimum
like
one
that too.
is probably acceptable, right? Like zero cost like one drops is not. I don't think that's okay.
No,
To
no,
be
that's
fair,
cheating.
uh,
That's
yeah.
definitely
So
cheating.
minimum one is probably fair. To be fair, so
Cool.
I do think that would help some matchups, right? Like because they're introducing like a Khazar synergy card, right? If it's like oh Khazar um, is really good into Loki since it's not getting any cheaper for them. That might be something. So
Interesting.
I just don't think like you shouldn't be able to play zero cost one drops. Like it's like
No. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying when it's turn 6 and they're playing like 6 or
like
7
10
cards and you're like,
cards. I
how?
know, right? It's like come
How?
on, man. Like
You see all their card backs on the board and you're like, how? Like, there's no way.
yeah, it's definitely something I think could be adjusted pretty easily, and it's not like a big change. I think most Loki games are still going to feel relatively the same. So yeah.
Gotcha. All right. And then, is there anybody, well, anything or anybody you want to shout out or say, or anything you want to say, or anything you want to ask me?
How are you doing? How was your things? What about the tournament? What's your experience about like that tournament we played? Have you played a lot of tournaments generally? Anything like that? Like,
Um,
what was your feelings around it?
so I think what SnapCon was probably my first major one, and I got top 8.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
You got to come to snap the next one,
I didn't have a place to stay.
bro. You
That
can
was
stay with me. I
maybe
live in Tampa.
okay.
If you need a place, I
Yeah,
got you, bro.
maybe I should have like
Or we can all get a
meet or
hotel,
something. Yeah,
bro. Well, we got friends here,
yeah,
so
sure.
just let me know.
But if I could have went if I had a place to stay. Essentially, that was like the biggest issue for
No,
me. But yeah,
dude, you're
if
good.
there's another one, I'll definitely be more on it.
All right, cool. If it's in Tampa, because I'm from Tampa, you're coming, dude. So
Okay.
I think that was like my first. Well, I played in other tournaments where I've done pretty decent. I've almost made
Mhm.
top 8, but like since I have like kids and school and all that kind of stuff, it's
Right,
hard for me
right,
to
right.
play tournaments all the time.
Of course, of
But like
course.
the one like recently that we played in, it was tough because all the top players were playing against each other the whole time.
Yeah,
So
it's
the top was playing
I
against
was
the
so
top the
close.
whole time, and the bottom was playing against the bottom the whole time. So like for you to win that tournament, you had to be like on your A game. And then when I played you, I got lucky because the locations were on my
Yeah.
side.
I don't know. It was well.
No, because I was playing
I,
Darkhawk and I had
yeah,
Subterranea, and then as soon as I saw
yeah.
Subterranea, I snapped.
And you should. It was that's right.
And then
Uh,
I know that you're a pretty like conservative player too. So I knew like if we went back and forth, like you would retreat when you know that or you had the inkling that you might lose. So in my head I was thinking like if I could get him back farther enough, like I have a chance. And then that's what happened. I just snapped on whenever I had like locations in my favor.
yeah, there was definitely something. Some I could have risked it for sure. Um, at least played it out for two.
Right.
But the locations were good. That's. There was one game in there that I think I could have stayed and then tried to turn it around. But even then, I don't know if the matchup was as good as I thought it'd be. Honestly, the rocks were kind of. I think I played discard right. The rocks
Yeah,
were
you
kind
play
of
discard.
annoying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The rocks were more annoying than I was expecting. Because I kind of need like key cards,
Right.
and the rocks were kind of like delaying my draws. And I should have just played. I think you banned my Patriot. I should have just played
Oh yeah,
Loki.
I banned that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I should have just played Loki. Every Loki game I won. It was like not, and it wasn't like that hard. I think Loki was just so broken. I should have just taken
See?
it.
See, I told you
Uh,
Loki was horrible.
so, so I think I should like knowing what I know now. I probably would have just been like, oh, either Patriot or Loki, unless the discard matchup is really good. The discard was what I practiced the most too, which was
Okay.
funny. Um, well, I was practicing it all day the day before, right? So, and I was feeling good about it, but when I played in the tournament, it didn't come together. And then I played it off. Like afterwards, I just played it back like on ladder, and it was like still really good. And I was just like, damn, it just that tournament did not work out for me.
Well,
Um,
it's weird how tournament play is different from ladder. You know?
yeah, yeah, but even then, like the that deck just puts out a lot of like power, like just puts out a lot of power. But the matchup was bad, and I knew you were playing that deck. I knew you were playing Dark Hawk into it, right? Like so, I just thought oh it would be fine, but it wasn't as good as I thought it'd be. So
Yeah, because that
uh,
was the deck I used to get infinite. Typically, I make
yeah,
infinite in a day, and that was the deck I
right,
used, so I know that deck
yeah,
like the back of my hand.
yeah,
So I was
same
like,
here. I know that deck too. So that's why I was leaving. I like oh yeah he's in the head here.
and I was like,
So yeah.
I was like, geez, man. I was like,
Just a rock one, yeah. Because Loki could just remove the rocks, just eat the rocks, and it does,
oh
and then
yeah,
you
for
could get a
sure.
card. Yeah.
That's why
I
he's
don't
too
know.
strong.
I should have just played, and I liked my Patriot deck. Oh, like I was getting more Patriot decks than Loki bans, or it was like 50-50. Like my discard got banned once, And then my Patriot and Loki, I think, both got banned like 3 times. I thought no one was gonna ban my Patriot,
No,
but
I
like
was gonna
everyone was
ban
scared.
it.
I think it's just because like people weren't like it's a weird looking list or something because it's not
Well,
a list I played that often. I don't know why it was so aggressively
the
banned
reason
away
why I
from
didn't
me.
ban your Loki is because I had a discard deck too, and my
Mm.
discard deck goes pretty well against Loki.
Into the Loki, but you didn't play it,
I didn't play it because I was like, all right, I'm playing
Yeah.
against educated cons. I have to play something I'm
I'm
pretty
comfortable with.
comfortable with.
I hear you. I hear you.
So I was
Yeah,
like, I
fair
have
enough.
to.
Yeah.
But I played
Well, it's
discard
GG.
against STG,
Uh-huh.
Super Tech God, and I ended up beating him
Right.
because I think
Right.
my Silver Samurai kept on hitting his Hella.
How? Wait, how?
So I
What? Oh,
was
because it's the smallest card. I see. Yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah. That makes sense, dude.
and I was playing a Lockjaw targeted discard deck. So
Mm-hmm.
my Silver
Right.
Samurai sometimes popped up twice,
Go twice. Yeah.
and I ended up hitting every time I hit his Hella, I snapped.
Yeah, of course, as you should. Yeah, of course. That's
Yeah,
his whole
so
win con.
I barely like. I'm surprised I beat him. Then
Uh,
after that, I
yeah,
got wrecked by Brade because he played Sheenot deck, and
yeah,
I couldn't hang
yeah,
with it with any of my decks,
yeah,
and yeah, it was bad. Like I started
yeah.
off good, and I just crashed at the end.
Yeah, I got 10th out of it, so I was 2 away.
Yeah, like I
Um,
stayed in the top. I think I was in the top 8 the whole time until my last 2 games.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, you're either the bug or you're the windshield. Like whatever, it's fine. I was the bug.
What reference is that? You're either the bug or the windshield. Those both don't sound that pleasant to me.
Yeah, you're either the bug, you get squashed, or you're the windshield and you're doing the squashing.
Yeah, I guess I've never thought of myself as the windshield when I lose. I'm like, the
Yeah,
windshield.
yeah,
Get,
you learned
get
something
wrecked.
new.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, I just think it would be nice to have more tournaments in the
Oh yeah,
scene.
for sure.
I I don't know what Second Dinner thinks about sponsoring their own tournaments or having like a circuit or something, but I do
Or
think
another
those are pretty
creators clash
interesting.
with you in it.
Yeah, that would be fun. Another thing, that I would love to see is just a draft mode. That's like maybe my biggest like want for the game is to have some
Mhm.
type of limited drafting. I think that would be super fun. Like that's definitely where I find the most enjoyment in like the card games anytime I play like Yu-Gi-Oh and Hearthstone and stuff like that. Like just that limited format because it's just like you and the cards, deck deciding, and then like playing off of that. Like I think that would be super fun.
And then
So
I like to see the challenges be more unique towards the characters of like Marvel. Like
like the daily challenges.
yeah, like the daily or the
Like
weekend,
play Jean Grey. Like
or
I don't
play
know.
the
Win a lane
fantastic,
with Jean Grey.
or it should be like play all four Fantastic Four
But
members
that's
in a
so
deck.
hard. Like
Exactly.
the 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 problem with that is that there's no like practice mode except for like conquest proving grounds. But like there's no like and then like people just play ranked right all day. And if they have to like incorporate like random bad cards, no offense, Fantastic Four or whatever, like it's just like it's not gonna be that fun. Like it might be fun. It might be fun as an event, like a week long super dailies, and then
Yeah,
like
that'd
you're
be cool.
getting gold instead of credits, right? Like that would, like that would be okay. Okay, I'm down for that. Like, but
Yeah.
if it was like a constant thing where I have to like play with like Baron Mordo in a game, like I'm not doing like like I'm just leaving at that point. So that's kind of the issue. Now, if you play Baron Mordo and get gold, like okay, well, I'll figure it out. Like it's a little bit different.
True.
But if it's like a constant thing, it's like I don't think it would be received well.
True. I don't know. Like play with like 4 X-Men in your deck or something. I think it'll
You
be
have to.
interesting.
I don't know the X-Men. I don't know the Fantastic Four except for some of them.
Wait, you can't
you
name the
know.
Fantastic Four? You should be able to name the
No, I
Fantastic.
I don't know the lore. I'm not a lore person.
So it's the Thing,
Oh, okay. I know
Human
Mr.
Torch.
Incredible, Human
No,
Torch. Yeah,
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, that's the
An
one.
invisible woman.
An Invisible Woman. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I knew two of them. Okay. Cool. The Thing and the Human Torch did not know.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm pretty sure they're probably cards you don't play.
no,
No.
I do play Invisible Woman.
Yes. Yes.
And Mr.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, sometimes, he's little bit better with uh Miss Marvel as well. So
Yeah. True. Yeah. I think he needs a buff if Miss Marvel is the way she is.
I mean, I guess he could be a 2-3.
Maybe. Or like a
That
3-4 or something.
that no, I
No.
I I well, oh, I meant like a 3-3. That's what I meant. No,
Okay.
no.
Isn't he?
Yeah,
What is
I
he
meant
now?
3-3. He's a 3-2, isn't he? Yeah,
Let's see.
he's a 3-2.
Yeah, he's a 3-2.
Yeah. He could be a
So if he's a
3-3.
3-3, that's fine.
Yeah, that means he's a 3-7, but spread along 3 lanes. Like that's kind of okay,
Yeah.
right? Like it's okay you're paying the premium because you have to spread the power, which is not always a good thing. So I think the justification is okay to do
Gotcha.
that.
And is there any card that you're looking forward to in the future?
Uh Fire starters looks so broken to me, honestly. But I did say that about Annihilus as well. So Annihilus, I think might be better as less people are playing him, and people are like fully drafting around his game plan. But
When they're not playing Ghost?
yeah, I don't know if I agree. But if it's working for you, who am I to judge, right? So I don't even have Ghost. I can't even try it. I don't even
Wait, you
have Ghost.
don't?
So. Yeah, I'm missing like 12 cards or 10 or
You're
12
missing
cards.
12 cards?
Something like that, yeah.
Are you still like free to play?
I sometimes get the season passes, you know?
Really?
Yeah,
Bro.
wait, what do you want? What? I'm not I have most of the cards, it's just some of them I don't have.
I thought by
Ghost,
now
Ghost
you would have.
I don't have ghosts, like, oh well, like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but I don't know. You create like I figured you're almost a whale now. I figured you would have been a whale now in the game by now.
Dude, I'm the least will here.
The YouTube money hasn't cracked you yet. You haven't splurged on the game yet.
No. I mean, I've splurged more like this. I played Hearthstone for like 7, 8 years, right? And I never bought anything. I've spent more money on
wow.
this game than Hearthstone that I've been playing for 8 years. So,
That's crazy.
I've already splurged, to be fair.
Gotcha.
Like,
Makes sense.
getting
Makes
the
sense.
season passes is crazy to me. So, you know,
Wow.
I guess
So,
splurging, like, there's different levels.
oh yeah. On Twitter
Yeah.
they have like the whale, the kraken, like
Right.
the different levels
Yeah.
of how much spending.
I've played other gotcha games. Not saying this is a gotcha game, but I've played gotcha games where I've spent like decent money.
Okay.
So,
Not like
but I've
Candy Crush,
gotten,
right?
I've learned, right? I guess so. It's like the the instinct to spend is not here anymore, right? I've kind of like learned my lessons and stuff
So
like
what is there a season pass that you've skipped out on recently?
that. Recently, no, because I'm getting to the like, oh, I should just get the passes, right? Like like as a like a general baseline, right? Just because
Right.
people want me to play with the new cards and stuff like that, and it's also good to play with it so that I know um the general. But I skipped some of the other ones like Modoc in particular. I skipped Nimrod. I also skipped. No, I think I got Modoc at the end. Nimrod I did skip for sure. And just some of the other like the ones at the beginning, I just was like, yeah, So what I got. Um, I think last day I picked up Silver Surfer.
On the last day?
I don't know if Yeah, on the last day. Like I was thinking about it the whole
what
month
made what made you get it on the last day?
because I was like, this is a card I will play probably in the future. And it's not true. I didn't play him that much, so I
Okay.
could have skipped him. Honestly, I think it would. I my gut was like just skip it, but I decided to get it. And my gut was correct. I could have
I
skipped
think
it.
that's
And
the only
probably
season I didn't make Infinite either. Was Silver Surfer season. That was my worst season.
uh, nah. All the early seasons were kind of crazy. No, none of the seasons I think have been difficult. To be fair, but yeah, I mean, it's it's all about like picking a concept and then going with it. Like so, it's like how am I climbing, and then just sticking to it and like making sure like you're consistent with your ideas. So like you can climb through like just consistent play, like just take your 2 cubes, da da da. You could climb through just big play bluffing. Like I'll just bluff early snap every game, try to make sure that they feel scared. You could just say I will snap turn 6 every time, see if I can make sure my games are good. You can also just go for like I will try to have the best deck possible, and then just try to play it perfectly, which is a lot of times some of the like the try hard players, but like I don't know if like that's the best like climbing strategy, like playing perfectly. Like that's more of a conquest strategy, I would
Right.
say.
So you're
Like
not like turn 1 you do this, turn 2 you do this, turn 3 you do that, turn 4 you do
yeah,
this.
yeah. That is a good strategy. That is a like if I have my combos, I snap. Like that is a really good climbing strategy. Like, okay, do I have my combos? Do I? Okay, then I snap, right? And that's your whole game plan. No combo, no snap. Combo, we snap it. Like that's actually really good because your opponent cannot play around you having your combo, right? So when you're snapping, it's not you're not snapping due to the board. You're not snapping due to like anything based on the gameplay that they can decleave from. You're just snapping because you have your combo, right? They can't like be like, oh, why is he snapping? It's because he drew his combo. Like that's not what people think. They're like, oh, this location must be good for him. Like
Right.
uh, so that would actually be a very effective way of like climbing. Just like, oh, do I have my combo? I snap, and then that's if they don't leave, yeah, I get my 2 Qs minimum, right? So I think that's actually a solid way of playing it out,
Yeah.
as well as other ways.
For sure. For sure. That's definitely some good advice there. All right. Is there anything else you want to tell everyone before we take off?
I hope you guys are having a wonderful, fantastic day. Make sure to just like and subscribe, and take care of yourselves and your family. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Though this might come out afterwards, so
No, it's coming out
have a
tomorrow. It's coming out tomorrow,
okay.
Colin.
I have
And
a
by
wonderful
fun
Thanksgiving.
and fun fact, my last name is Collins. Is your last name actually Collins?
My first name is Collins.
Your first name's Collins?
Yeah,
I always thought it was your last name because
that's
my last name is Collins. That's
yeah,
crazy.
my first name is Collins. Yeah, last name Collins is way more common than first name Collins. So, uh, yeah, I've only met one other person in my life with first name Collins. I think it was somewhere in college. I think, and I was very surprised because I think he had the same reaction. Like, whoa, I've never met
Yeah, that is
Collins before.
random. I always thought it was your last name. I was like, gosh, he might
Yeah,
be like a distant cousin of mine or something. That's your first name. That's crazy.
yeah, it is. It's Collins.
All right. Fun fact.
I
I learned something new today. The more you know.
The more you know.
All right, guys. This is it. Peace out. Till next time. Keep on snapping.